Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Live broadcast of the WTRL Team Time Trial number 155. I'm Nathan Guerra. Dave Towle is next to me, and we are out on the Two Bridges Loop for the first time ever. All new records are going to be set. I think some people out there, Dave, are going to be a little bit happy about that because of some of the pack dynamics that have changed over time, and we've got a whole fresh slate of world records that can be set today, even though it's all just today. So a little bit extra something though to fight for, I would think, here today, Dave.
Yeah, fresh slate. Perfect term. I was just thinking that as you said it. It is something that you're right. With all of the changes that have happened with the dynamics of racing out on Zwift, this is something that will be very welcome. Getting a just clean start out here. So let's see what happens. I'm expecting some really quick times. This is an ideal team time trial course when you talk about the execution of what team time trialing is all about. We have some range. We've acknowledged that with WTRL. Some of the courses are on the extreme end. This is going to be the perfect test out here. So 4 laps. It's about not even 160 meters of climbing. So it's noticeable because it comes at you in the 4 different chunks out there. But basically, Nathan, we've got ourselves an ideal team time trial here today. Thanks to WTRL for this is their signature event, no doubt about it. Today's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and as you can see, 4 laps, quick little loop there as they do head through the Essies, over the bridge, little cutoff there that was added, and then on over to the suspended bridge, a little bit of a punch as you see the first little section of, and we can see this on the Velo Viewer, powered by Strava here, that little punch at the bottom of the reverse KOM out there. But then after that, immediately down the downhill, because there's a little dirt road cutoff that was added for this Two Bridges loop that then descends the opposite side of the forward KOM. At 4 laps of that, I think just 2 little punches, really not a whole lot, though. I mean, very small, like just hang on, sprint over the top, and then speed, speed, speed. That's the name of the game, I think, here today for the TTT, Dave, is going to be just keep the speeds as high as you possibly can and punch it over the little, just those little risers that you do have.
Yeah, one of the big challenges today, Nathan, is going to be on those risers to have the right riders in place there and not have them go too hard to blow up the team. So it's you can earn that half second, but you can give it back so easily if your team has to restructure after that sector. So it's like going just hard enough, but not too hard. That's the finesse. That's what team time trialing is all about. So let's get it on. The times are going to be quick today. But Nathan, I've always felt, and I think you would agree, coming from a mountain biking background, the shorter the duration of the race just means the higher the intensity. So even though it's not spread out over as much time, the pain can even be more severe. I think these riders are going to be digging incredibly deep out here, especially the team time trial specialists. So all the regular rules apply now that we've got ZRL going again. It's always worth noting that teams start with up to 8 riders. And Nathan, today's a day, time taken off of the 4th. Today's a day where 8 would make a big difference, isn't it? Because it's the kind of day where more riders can be involved. Shorter pulls if you're not as strong, but you can still hit the front.
I'd have to agree with that. I actually do think that having more riders out here today, because it's interesting that the nature of a course like this, because it is such a short lap, and we can start to get some images here. We do see on the right-hand side of your screen, the women's Vienna starting in 21 minutes from now as they are starting to enter the pens. On the left-hand side of the screen in the open mixed race, we do have our men's lattes for the Platinum League. These are the top of the top invited to be broadcast. And we'll start in with the lattes and start getting some ideas of what their splits are. We'll start moving across some of the other categories, and we are in with the art isotopes. They are out onto their second lap already in 7K in, so it gives you an idea of how short these are. What is interesting here for me as well is I'm wondering if we're going to have riders that are getting lapped often or not. With a 9-minute gap, I don't think so. We are seeing a pretty good, well, maybe not 9 minutes here, actually. Look at this. We do see art isotopes chasing, though.
Actually, yes, that
yeah,
will
I think
be
they
an
will.
issue
They will
today.
definitely
Yeah.
be lapping some of these riders. So that'll be interesting to see how that ends up playing out. There's a little bit of frustration perhaps, but also like perhaps a little bit of I don't know. I get motivated when I come through a team. I get like, okay, let's go, punch it, and get on through. Now, it will maybe cause a little bit disruption of whether or not the team can stick together, though.
The teams have gotten pretty good at it, I would say. I think it actually the concept of will it bring faster times out of the teams or will the complications slow down the time? I think the former. I bet you the riders will be faster because of exactly what you said, Nathan, that chasing that carrot out in front of you. This is a long-standing team that I've come to really love, Nathan, when you talk about the Isotopes here. Adam Racing Team. Alan Reed is their Irishman. They've also got Daz, we saw a little bit earlier, David Hyvey out of the United Kingdom, Donnie McCauley from Scotland. I see the UK flag flying for Kev Taylor as well. Mark Sanders, Paul Bezant, and Richard Chilvers making up this team. And it looks like they do have the 8 riders working well together as yeah, I mean, they're already out on lap number 2, aren't they?
Yeah, they are heading to the Essies here. This is going to be the section, of course, there's going to be a couple little bumps, and a lot of time can be gained through sections like this. What other section on, I think McCurry Islands is one of the only places I can really think of that has this amount of rolling in succession right next to each other. And this kind of a section, of course, is really crucial when it comes to Team Time Trial because of the amount of slingshotting that you can do from back to front and carrying speed over these little bumps. You do this right as a whole team, and if you keep it together, you can slingshot so many times out there and really gain a lot of speed. Some teams, though, need to focus on just keeping it together. It depends on what kind of skill as well as power that you have in the tank, and also whether or not you're being DS'd well, in my opinion, whether or not your DS has that precision, I would say almost surgical precision, actually, to really make that happen through this section of course. You can gain a ton of time with some sharp punches and speed through. Now, as we do see the Isotopes keeping together well, though, all 8 making it through, as we do have Bazant on the front. Actually, no, excuse me, it's Chilvers. Now, up into 35 kilometers per hour, trying to push the team on over the top of this last little bump on the Essies. They head towards the first bridge of the 2.
The Essies must be, Nathan, the most challenging sector of the course out here, I would think, from your experience. That's a good question, actually, from a novice TTT person, from my perspective. Is riding through the Essies about the same challenge as a descent out here?
Interesting. I would say it's a little bit more difficult, actually. I would say
More to manage, even then.
yeah, yeah, there's a lot more to manage because it's on off, on off, on off, on off, over and over and over again. So I get the impression that it has a lot more to do rather than, well, I guess if it's a longer descent, there is a little bit more on off, but you have to time it with each one of those bumps. And if you don't time it well, you're not going to really get the advantage. You might find yourself off the front or off the back. So there's a lot of timing issues when it comes to little rolling terrain like that, like we see in the Essies.
Sure. Yeah, I'm thinking almost like music, right? Where in a marching band, it's sort of like you're on or you're off, right? It's either hit the front and give her or sit back in the woods. Let's go take a look here as
This
this is
is
going to
Wrath.
be,
This is
yeah,
Wrath, Dirt Wrath. And the way they came through with the speed right there out of the Essies, totally different from what we saw from the Isotopes there. 50 plus kilometers per hour on the downhill and the roll throughs. You can see this team's got a lot of experience and they're hungry right now to use it.
brand new course today. So it's almost 30 kilometers. Let's call it just under 29, actually, to be more accurate, of racing out here. 4 laps. We have very little precedent. The teams that have raced earlier today, and that's one of the things about today with 19 different zones. We're right into, actually, we move into the second half of the WTRL day at this point. Platinum League, these are the top teams from last week that have been invited to compete in this time zone. And let's see what we've got coming in from Twins TV shows here. It would be cool to have draft turned off for everyone except your teammates in TT mode. That's an interesting idea. Nathan?
Yeah, I think it would be kind of cool. I mean, there's 2 different arguments to have there because, there is the purist argument of, look, hey, these people are out on course. Their
It
bodies
is
are
what
a
it
part
is,
of the
right?
course,
Yeah.
right? And so you need to work with the new obstacles that are out there. And one thing that was told to me that I would get a little bit frustrated with at there's a reason why the pros went out alone at the end of the day. But then if you're in a mountain bike race that has laps, and then you don't put anyone else out on course with them, right? Because they're going to be lapping people. But then at maybe a little where the event organizer doesn't have as much time or as much landscape to work with as well as time, and they need to throw a couple categories that are maybe your elites on the back end of that, and then they're doing, I
Right.
don't know, less laps. You end up running into them. I was early on in my racing was like pretty angry, to be honest, that I was running into people on course. There's money on the line in my career. Like, hey, what are you doing out here? Like, you need to yield the trail immediately because I just gained all this time that you're messing up, right? So, like, there's a big pull in me that wants to really agree. And then there's another side that I understand, like, hey, I've kind of loosened up a little bit that, well, you need to understand these are obstacles on the course and everybody's going to get them. They might be a little bit random. I still lean towards, though, at a really high level, at a really, really high level, you need to have that out of the way.
Cyclocross is a sport where this really comes up, right? They have that 80% rule, and lapped riders can impact a race in a major way. We saw it happen a few times this last year, and it's completely different in a team time trial where theoretically, if the teams can follow the code of what we're trying to do here, there shouldn't be too much cross pollination and the mixing up of the teams. As in real life, that would never happen, right? But that's one of the things that's different in esports is the way that the avatars are being positioned in the gameplay out there. It does happen. But as I said earlier, the teams have gotten much better at making clean passes out here, and I think that the engagement policy of how we do this is now more understood, Nathan. There was a period 2 years ago where a lot of folks were really new to this, but now most of our riders are experienced, or they have mentors that they can go to that have that experience. It used to be quite a few folks were just figuring this out on their own out there, but we've come a long way. So let's take a look at the splits that we've got coming in now. 8K is the first one here, 8, 16, and 24, and an 11:37 by ATP Racing Nitrogen. Very quick out there on that first lap, and that's basically what that is lap number 1, 11:59 for the Vikings Molnir. Dirty Rascals Wrath with a 12:03. 5 seconds behind them at 12:08 is Team ODZ, the DOC, Destroyer of Cookies. It's close here, Nathan. 12:09 for the Woolly Rhinos, 12:12 for the Isotopes, ART, and then 12:37 for Swedish Swift Racers there. But the teams that were fastest last week are seeded last. So we'll see how they do out here, as expect some more fast times.
Be interesting to watch here what kind of watts per kilogram these latte riders are pulling over the top of this 5%. Well, it's actually up into 11+% at one point, but this little bump and how hard you go over the top of it, how much you risk of the energy that you have to give in that tank throughout this, you only have so much throughout the race, and how much do you commit here to this section? Because this little bump and the speed you carry over it, as you see Ravel go flying right on by to try and really bump up the speed for his team, it's going to be a big seconds gain here for any teams that sacrifice a lot here and still have a little bit left in the tank. At 5+ watts per kilogram, though, in a latte, we're talking pretty well over their FTP. So interesting to see here. Wrath now down the other side of this climb. And as we were saying, this is the slingshot. Secret comes from the back, straight to the front, gets him right into 57 plus. Everybody else jump on quickly. And there it is. That's the slingshot we're looking for. And now, will we have another one come through from the back? We did see a question just come in, actually, about how does the slingshot work. I was seeing here from Soggy Wilson over on the YouTube channel, and I appreciate that question. Essentially, slingshot the last rider through as best as you can. If that is going to be the rider, it would be the last, the second to last, third rider, depending on how many that you have left. The second rider in the wheel is going to kind of probably drop any of the other riders, and it depends on how hard you slingshot through and whether or not your other riders are really being attentive. That's the other thing, is they still have to put in a little bit of effort sometimes to find those wheels, and it's all about being really dynamic with your speed and power throughout the entirety of the team to make sure that you're not losing the wheel of the rider who's punching the orange numbers through. But yes, it is going to be slingshotting from the back, and it's a timing thing too when it comes to like when that rider starts to go, because you can. It's
about
I don't want
so
to. Go
Let me
ahead.
jump in for a sec. Yeah. So my thought would be, Nathan, think that in when you're sprinting and you're surfing through the group, right, and you're able to use the dynamic of the draft of the other riders to help you accelerate. Let's call that surfing. All right. And I think that sort of what you're talking about is slingshot or surfing being the same term in this case, is the rider who's got the momentum. You always want to have that momentum being used. So
Good
if you
description there. Exactly.
Great. So if good right here, right? See this rider? I'm not sure who this is, but moving to the front. Good. Move to the front. And then if someone else has more speed to carry through, as they do, take over. Now they're actually going to settle back in because the descent is ending here. I can tell it says -1. It just went to 0. So it's just flattening out at this point. And now, Nathan, I would say move back into standard team time trial protocol. Start rotating through stronger riders. Don't go faster when you hit the front. Just take a longer pull. We'll try to keep the speed high. It really, the key thing, Nathan, is in my mind, is never be bogging down the front. Bogging down is a term that my dad used when he taught me how to drive, to tell you the truth, on a clutch, right? Don't let the engine start chugging and then dying. You've got to keep it revved. And sometimes that's counterintuitive. You get a little scared and you don't want to push the gas, but keep pushing the gas is what Nathan is saying. And the riders who are on the front, again, if you're feeling strong, stay up there longer. And what you do is give your teammates more of a chance to sit in the draft and recover and be more useful when their turn comes around. And to be honest, Nathan, I would have been the kind of rider that would have been saying, I'm going to take shorter pulls, but still try to be useful to the team. So when I hit the front, I don't want to see the speed drop from 38K to 36K when I'm up there. I'm going to try to keep it there for exactly as long as I can. I hope that all makes sense. I know it's a lot to take in. Team time trial seems like it would be so simple, but it's just not. It really isn't.
Well, my analogy is the entirety of like an organism simple? No, every system is working together in conjunction with the other systems, and you really have to be a single organism as 4 to 8 different people, though, and you have to understand what is going on with the momentum of a rider, perhaps in the back of the pack, to the rider who's at the front of the pack in these dynamic situations
So,
like the Essies or like a downhill where it isn't just the order that has been set. An audible gets called, or some something happens where it's like, look, you have to be aware that momentum could get wasted without any power being given, right? So that's really the thing,
sure.
is if there's no power, no energy being expended, and there's free momentum, anytime you waste that free momentum that could find itself on the front to carry everybody else faster, you have lost speed and time that could have been used, and as well as wasted energy from another rider who's pulling on the front that actually had less speed and less momentum. So
And
speed is still king.
the teams that win are the teams that don't make that mistake or make it as rarely as possible. That's well put. This is ODZ, the destroyer of cookies, appropriately named Sea Biscuit. Huh. So we've learned that's funny. Seabiscuit the movie, but biscuit is obviously the British or United Kingdom's term for, or actually more than that, a lot of the world, English speaking world, what they would call a cookie. Nathan, you've learned that, I'm sure, along the way in your time in
Yeah,
the Zwift
we have had a
verse.
lot of fun with
Plenty of
scones and
biscuit
tea and all kinds of
chips
yeah.
and crisps
Yeah.
and the whole thing. So this is ODC. Now what's going on here? They need to organize a little bit.
I
So
think
woolly
they showed
rhinos.
up with, I don't know what happened, but it looks like Chambers off the pack. They only have 4 left, it looks like, and they're really struggling to keep things together today.
Yeah, interesting. So this is a team that's well drilled. They wouldn't be in Platinum League if they weren't. But who knows what has happened? It's again so many variables out here, and a team that I'm sure will be back and firing on all cylinders as ATP is right now. So we're in with the lattes. I can tell that because I see the A up there as well. A associated with latte. These are the coffee classes that we use in WTRL, World Tactical Racing League, appropriately named. B, the letter B is the mocha group. The C's are the espressos, and it's all level based, ability based. This is mixed, so men and women. I saw Laura Perry might be racing with us, Nathan. We'll have to check on that a little bit later. She was in the latte class. I'm going to see if she's out there today. But yeah, frappes and then the dopios, they are generally the fastest time that we see. Looks like we've got a comment coming in from Trim Olson, one of our DSs out there.
Yeah, he says that normally he DSs for Mutant X and rides for Mutant Y. Great to see him out here with the newly coined Mutant team who's been taking the scene in the ZRL as well as the TTT. And he says, never something you feel
Funny
you know
comment.
much about. Doing it for 2+ years and still learning something new every time. I mean, that really speaks to the reality.
We feel the
And
same
that's like,
way.
I mean, well, isn't it crazy though that this discipline you would think, oh, just go fast. You get 8 people out there, you draft on each other, and you just go
What's
fast.
so
But
hard about that,
I
right?
mean, there's
Yeah.
so much more to it, though. And there's a reason why I would say T-Teen and then team time trialing on top of it in the pro peloton. There's entire sections of specialized bicycles completely committed to how fast can this TTT. But I mean, like, it's like there's entire like laboratories just figuring out how do we get a TT as fast as it possibly can go. This is one of the hardest
They never
disciplines in the
stop.
world by far.
Yeah, and I mean, a time trial specialist is such a unique kind of rider. I look at Rowan Dennis, right? The focus required, the dedication to the craft. Or Ghana or our friend Ashton Lambie. What they do is amazing, and the ability to even hold the aerodynamic position that they race in is just next level. Looking really good out here is the ATP team. We got some times coming in from the midpoint of the race out here for our mixed men's category. Again, this is the A's, the lattes that we're with, and 2356 is actually tied right now with the Woolly Rhinos and Wrath, the Rascals Wrath. That's Dirt, Dad's Indoors Riding Trainers that are putting up the fast time right now, 24:01 for the Vikings Molnir. Adam Racing Team Isotopes in with the 4th. Quickest time, we'll see that board updating now to the middle part of the course. 29K of racing. Two Bridges Loop, first time ever. I have a feeling this will be a popular course, Nathan.
Yeah, I think it is definitely an interesting course. It's a lot of fun. I really look forward. I may be racing it tonight. OMG gave me an invite. We'll see if we're going to jump in with them.
Oh, good.
Yeah, well, it's going to be tough, man. I heard that there's a certain Brett Boniface jumping in with them as well, so I might get my legs ripped off. But I just because it's a new course and it's a rebel route that's gotten. I think, well, was it a rebel route? No, it wasn't a rebel route. It just was an addition. But
Huh.
with the addition and the way that this course runs, I've done a lot of TTing around this course, not on this course, but on a lot of roads around it. And it'll be interesting with the little cutoffs to see how it plays out because I've done so many Watopia forwards as well as Watopia reverses. But I have, wow, what a pass there. WLBB.
That was really clean.
Very, very clean.
Credit to both teams. The Swedes were very cool about that, too.
Yeah, WLBB must be flying out here. I mean, that was just with 4 riders
What
too.
was
Nice
their
on them. I'm gonna see if we can
what was
find
their
where they're
split
out
time
there. Yeah, good
from the
question. As we look through, I'm not actually seeing them on the list here, so we'll see if we can figure out
Yeah,
what's happening with that.
that's what's throwing me off too. We'll check in on that because clearly they are. And what's even more amazing is they're doing this with 4 riders, but 4 well-drilled riders. We're in with Volker right now. WLBB is the team, and I'm just looking at them. I mean, their running time is 24:38. They most likely have. Oh, there's Laura Perry, and we'll get some more data for you there. Laura was out racing with us in the ZRL on Tuesday. This cross country skiing phenom out of Canada,
And she was
super active
she was feeling
esports
a little
racer.
sick, I think, and
She
now I
got
think
yeah,
hopefully she's feeling better. It looks like it's 6 watts per kilogram amongst the boys here. She may
I'd
be.
say she seems fine. Crisis
Tommy's
averted.
like, I don't feel
There.
fine right now. This hurts. This hurts, Dave. No, but,
She's such a strong rider. And she's really built up her body of work, right? Her experience now is really going to pay off for her. We were talking about that before the broadcast, Nathan, about years and years of training. That's got to be worth something, even if you're not at your very fittest. You've got that again, that body of work, right?
we also have Svenna Scheller here as well for the Dirt Mert team with the Megas. So I love the mixed teams.
A couple
here.
women out there.
Yeah, 2
Yeah,
women jumping out here. She's out of Germany, level 50 Zwift with 448 races. So has got a lot of experience, actually. So Laura Perry as well as Svenna Schelder jumping out here. And then the rest of the team, it looks like from the Dirt Megas, hammering away. What kind of time are they pulling in here, Dave? Let's see. We can see the Dirt Chase maker. They were at 11:41 at the first check. They were almost the fastest team. It was only ATP Racing
Only 4
Nitrogen.
seconds difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they had right with them the Valhalla version of the Vikings here. We're going to see in just a moment who brought their A game. So 4 laps out here, you really get a feel for the teams. This is also, though, where you look at teams that only have 4 riders, they should be paying a price, right, Nathan, on the final lap out here, as the workload distribution is a lot tougher when you're splitting it up against 4 or amongst 4 versus, most teams, hopefully with 5 or 6 at least at this point.
Gonna see if we can jump. Were they the fastest team coming through? I think they were the fastest coming in. Excuse me. See, Dirty Rascals Retaliators were the fastest coming in, but they did not make the start. So actually, this is going to be our tail end team coming in as the defending Latte champions of Platinum, at least of Platinum League. So, go ahead.
The Retaliators is such a funny name to me.
Why?
Right?
Why is that a funny
I don't
name?
know.
Why
I know
is
just because it's something that you
Retaliators funny?
absolutely they teach you your entire life. Like, hey, don't retaliate. Take the high road. But they're not the Dirty Rascals, the Retaliators. That's such an awesome program. I have been overwhelmed by just the sheer volume of awesomeness that the Dirt family has. Over 2,000 people involved. I learned from Christopher Schwenker the other day, Nathan. Yeah, it's quite amazing. Hey, it looks like you're taking a look at the Dopios here. Mutant X, we were just talking about. Wow, 2054 at 16K out there. So Martin was right. I thought the times would be a little bit faster than they are, but doesn't look like anyone's going to go sub 36 today, Nathan. I don't think. Just looking at what we've got right now, again, Mutant X in at a 2054. This is the mid-race check. It's actually a little past midpoint, to be fair, 21:10, so not that far back, actually. Nathan's going to show us now, though, the fastest times ever on this course, which also happens to be today, as this is the first time we've raced out here. Anything stand out to you here, Nathan?
Well, I want to know about sub 37. Like that's kind of like the marker right now, right? So we'll see how this plays out with that. If we're gonna get a sub 30, I think we will. I think we'll get a sub
I think we
37. Sub
do.
36 though, the big ask. I think
Probably. So again, we're kind of in a time of year where we're not seeing all the teams firing on all cylinders. A lot of folks are getting back outside as it warms up around the globe. So this wouldn't be the week. We will see sub 36. We might see sub 35. You get a fired up Saris no pins team.
This guy Dave's making some serious calls here. Sub 35.
You know me.
I'm gonna have to drive the pace tonight. OMG.
Okay,
we're gonna go nuts. So look, I'm racing in real life on Sunday. What are you doing to me? I was talking about this. Like I trained yesterday. Now I'm training. Like now I'm racing tonight. One recovery day. You're demolishing my legs with these pushes here. Come on now. Dude.
Well, I'm not saying you don't have to do it this week, but I need Martin's help here. If we can use this course, because I do love this course. If we could use this 3 times in the next year, I bet you we see times sub 35 for sure. When you get a Saris firing on all cylinders, absolutely. This is a strong team, Toyota Cryo, that we're in with right now, the familiar blue jersey of one of the world's favorite teams, no doubt. They've all gone with the Tron bike, except for one rider who probably doesn't have access, so going for the most aerodynamic machine as possible. Certainly, if there's ever a day where bike choice was as simple as possible, it's whatever the most aerodynamic bike you can get, use that.
Looking at Cryogen here.
No comment from Nathan even.
And I have productions in my ear too, yelling at me about something I was supposed to do. So I was just being honest. There was like somebody was like, "Hey, fix this now." So
I understand.
Yeah, but 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, speaking of bikes, so you're on the bike in the situation here. Trons, I'm surprised by Cryo. Actually,
you think they would have gone for the slipperier option?
Oh, 100%. I'm 100% like the only one, in my opinion, who actually played this correctly. And now what's going on here? No gloves. What's going on, Gottwald? Now you got it all right, except for the glove situation. I mean, this is so pretty, actually. What's happening here? and then I just see these bare hands. Like, what is going on, bud?
That's funny how I have zero reaction to the bare hands. I must be a lot more used to it than you
It
are.
looks like he's
Whereas
giving a peace
I don't even
sign,
think.
though. Doesn't it look like he's kind of giving a peace sign with this?
Well, that's certainly not the most aerodynamic way to hold your hands, but unfortunately, he doesn't control his
Wait, does
avatar.
it
He
do
could
that?
wave,
It only does
right?
that
But I mean, it
with no gloves. Look at that. Maybe he likes the peace sign. No, wait, it's just him.
That's interesting because that would obviously any coach like Rowan Dennis would certainly not hold his hands out in that symbol.
But maybe
Although
they all
I mean,
grab because
unless
it's a
it proved in a
Trombike.
wind
Maybe it's
tunnel
a
to be
Trombike
faster.
thing. It's a
Yeah.
Trombike thing. Watch. Wait. Let's go to Mutant.
Oh,
It's a Trombike thing. It's a Trombike
interesting.
thing. That's what it is. So you close your hands on the Trombike, but you have the peace sign on any other bike. Well, whatever you want to call it. Maybe it's not a
The
peace
peace sign
sign.
if you're in America. Yeah.
If you're in America. If you're in America.
Right.
Yeah.
It means something else in other places. So,
Oh
anyways,
God.
all right. So let's take a look then. So this is our the Dopios here, and
Mutant,
new
20
splits
seconds
coming
up.
in. Yep. There you go. So it's going to be close, but 20 seconds out here, it looks pretty good for Mutant right now. They just need to stay on the gas.
We have a question coming in. I thought he'd be saying this to me with the way that my broadcasting is going currently, but I'm not sure. Dave, I'm not even sure Dave drinks coffee.
Oh,
Does
I
Dave
am.
drink?
Yes.
Usually, I see Dave with a Red Bull. To be honest, I'm just
Yeah. Or both.
or both,
Right.
or both. Dave has like the equivalent of 10, I think, with the Red Bull and
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
coffee. Okay, here we go.
It's
Let's
pretty easy
see.
to get stoked during this racing, to tell you the truth, right? If you really engage with it, you can really feel the energy that these riders have wherever around the world they are on their smart trainers.
Down to
So,
Dirty
okay.
Vipers. We've got the diapers in scene here, Dave.
So they've got 5 riders together here coming. So we'll see exactly what the official distance is today. We're saying 29K. I think it'll be
It's like
pretty
I
close
think
to
it's
that.
like 29 point something. It's like it's really close to 30K. It's super close to 30K. So right on the edge there.
So another team that has a great vibe for sure. There's a rider who finished their work earlier, so they got right down to it. And that actually is typically a good sign when you see single riders coming out of the team after taking a long, hard pull, trying to eke out another second rather than just be along for the ride to the finish line. This has got to hurt, Nathan. At this point now, 36 minutes of all in racing, and now you're on a 5-6% grade here.
Full
Just got to
gas over
keep
the
it together.
top, 6-7 watts per
This is
kilogram.
mental
Right
here.
now, I'd
Yep.
be in almost sprint mode over the top of this one if I really was like we were fighting for a time. You can see that from Toyota Cryo actually up ahead. Now this is
And
Mutant
that's
coming
all
over the
well and
top here.
good as long as your team is in sprint mode, right?
100%. Boro just finishing up. He's going to get us over toward the finish line. You can see everybody. They're right around that 37 mark, it looks like, maybe a little less. So good on them. Really solid times. The women are just getting out on course. Suddenly we're in the middle of, I don't know what this ride is.
Wow.
What is that jersey eating?
I don't recognize that jersey. Yeah, it's
No,
a
what
big,
is this
big
ride?
group heading
If you
out here
guys
today.
know, if somebody in
04.
if somebody in the chat knows what that is, let us know. The women are just getting out of course. We'll jump back in with some of the men's racing in just a second, but definitely want to highlight the ladies as they get out on course. They are 8 minutes into their race. We're jumping in with the lattes with Rave Against the Machine. We'll move our way forward to try and find the front end of this race for the first ones to head out on course. I believe it's going to be the Galaxy team. Yep, it is going to be Galaxy with no, it's not going to be Galaxy. Excuse me. ZR Scott, perhaps going to be our first, one of our first ones out here. As you can see, Kirsten, I think they were actually the second to go. Prez is there as well. ZR Scott only with 4. So going to be a tough day for them with some of these other teams showing up with obviously 8.
Yeah, interesting here. So again, same story, right around 29K of racing, 4 laps out here today on the Two Bridges Loop. This is a perennial contender as far as squads go. Kirsten, the rider that we're with, the Scottish squad. Well drilled for sure. Today, a tough day though, with 4 to start. We mentioned it during the mixed men's broadcast, but time taken off of the 4th rider, so there's no wiggle room for them. Everybody's gonna have to
Um,
work together.
one rider I definitely like to highlight today as they make their way around. Well, we'll see if we can find them. Is looking to try and get into some of the men's racing still, but we're jumping around a little bit here. Move our way through the ladies here with the lattes as they're just getting out on course. Rave fire starters are here as well as we've got. I love the new kit. It always kind of pops to me because it is still fairly new. Uh, Launched during the last season of the Zwift Racing League and making their way through this Italian village section. Dave, this little section, it does have some cobbles on it. And after the Estes, if any riders are struggling, you may see riders fall off actually through this section because of a false expectation of the usual draft. Those cobbles do slow you down just a tad.
Yeah, and that's certainly a little bit of a factor with the Tron bike decision, but I don't think enough. I'm with you as far as your assessment about the most aerodynamic bike possible being the right bike. I see a couple, it looks like ZRL champion helmets in this team. If I'm correct there, that white helmet, or
Let's
is
see.
it?
Oh, that's a Lamar. I'm gonna see
No,
if we can
I'm
find
wrong.
one. I'm gonna
I
see if I
thought I
can find
saw
one. At the front, at
the,
the front, there's one rider here that
there we go.
is, and if you have it, I'd be rocking that every time I jumped on Zwift. I mean, that thing is
Oh,
the
that'd be my
rarity.
permanent choice. Yeah. Yeah, these were handed out to in all of our different divisions. The successful ZRL seasons. The not every season had a helmet awarded, but the last couple have. So if you're on a team that had a campaign that took you to triumph, that's a nice souvenir to carry with you. Very, very experienced group when you talk about rave.
Yeah, and if you want a little bit of information about this crew, they are specifically a women's racing team focused on racing. Like that's why Rave was created, was women's racing on Zwift, and really have blown up over the last year and a half or so, and are the a staple of racing in the women's team. Actually, huge growth because of what this team has done.
Yeah, great place to go if you're a woman out there who's watching and thinks, how do I get started? Well, reach out to Rave, and yeah, they have so many different teams and all the different levels as well. So you have plenty of choices there. It looks like we've got some men's mixed just finishing up. This is the Portuguese team, Tugas Z, as they've just got a couple K to go. This is the crux of the course out here. We talk about it being a really flat lap. Well, here's all the climbing that you do. It only adds up to about 160 meters. So it's certainly not the flattest course per Martin. That would be Fuego Flats, but pretty close to it here. But there's nothing like this on Fuego Flats.
Looking at two guys, as you said, Dave, they currently have the fastest time at 26:28 at 16K, 24K 39:57. So there looks like the Rhinos at 26 flat may overtake them as well as the Swedish Swift Racers. But this is going to be your Mocha category. Having a solid ride, a little bit of bump here that they're going to have to
Really?
go over. And I have a feeling that this is where they're losing time to the likes of some of these other Mocha teams. Maybe a top three though still in the cards for two guys.
They're keeping the team together, at least to their credit, as they're going to come up and over the top here. And they've got five guys that are all willing to lean in at this point. So
I think they
good luck here.
just caught
Couple
the
K to go.
Snogies. They just caught this cryogen team. Taylor saying, "Come on, these last three, we can let Todd go. Todd, see you later, bud." Because they only need four to the line. We'll see if they hold it together, but they only need four to the line. Really, at this point, those few seconds are really crucial. DB though, trying to give him a little bit of a wheel.
Todd's not
Perhaps it's going to
done.
come through. No, it looks like Todd's going to push on.
Yeah.
Got to try and get this
I'm,
Tron
I'm
bike to
thinking
the
Todd
line
comes
together.
back.
I don't
Yeah.
know, Dave. 4 seconds. We'll see. We'll see.
Todd is digging tremendously deep right now. I give him credit. A lot of riders would just throw in the towel there, but not Todd. He keeps fighting as they're down to it now, the finale. What a beautiful shot. Great
I
job today,
like
Nathan, as
Todd.
we
I like Todd. Todd's got it. Let's go.
How are we, so I'm thinking that the number that I've been talking about is low, to tell you the truth, because see that 322 meters there? That's a lot more climbing than I've been talking about. I think that might be a 2-lap total when I'm saying 159. It's 4 laps of racing out here, but that's definitely 322. Yeah. I mean, this will stack up for
Is that a lot of
Greenhall as
climbing, Dave?
well.
I don't know. Is it a lot of
And
climbing?
not a lot of climbing, but it's more than I was saying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think the Essies,
Right.
you roll through a lot of elevation, I think, through the
And
Essies.
yeah, on Zwift Power, which is not always, there's a lot of challenges to getting the information out there, but it's saying elevation gain at 159. It is definitely double that out here. So this is not. I wouldn't call this an insanely flat course at all.
No, no, there's little bumps in it for sure. McLaughlin here, Barry, it looks like, Greenhub, and Murchie all making their way through for the Zed Scat team. The Thistles at a 40.56, currently holding down the second
It's a
fastest
great
time. We're still waiting for the Rhinos as well as SZR, Team Type 1 and TFC.
It's a great example, Nathan, of in real life or Zwift doing that recce or reconnoitering or recon. A lot of different ways to say that.
Why do we
is
have so many ways to say that?
I
It's
don't know.
such an
One's
interesting.
like I think reconnoiter is a military term that maybe, and then recce sounds very Kate Bates
And
Australian
then
to me.
what's this Alpa whatever that Electric Spirits that CO has on their Saturday thing? Have you seen that? It's like a Alpa. I don't even know what the word is.
I
Somebody
haven't
in
seen
chat
that.
help me out here. No, you have, and it's like a
Okay,
race. It's like a pre-race. It's like a pre-race. I'm gonna find it now because I was like, what does that even mean? What is this thing?
it's all that the terms for that, right? But it makes a huge difference in your ability to be prepared, and just going on hearsay or what people
Okay,
tell you the course.
aperitivi. Have
So
you heard
so
that?
so that would be an like appetizer, the Italian term for a prelude.
It's an
Uh-huh.
appetizer. It's about food,
Right,
of
right.
course. I mean, I'm down with that.
Yeah, yeah. No,
It
but they're
didn't
great.
feel like I was
Highly
getting an
recommend.
appetizer. It felt like I was getting my legs ripped off. This isn't an
Punch in the
appetizer.
gut. Yeah,
Yeah, what are you
and
talking
they're
about?
doing those for the ZRL. We've got week number 2 coming up here. It's a team time trial, however. Are they gonna be doing one? I think
That's a
Greatest
good
London Flat?
question. Oh
Yeah.
shoot. Are we supposed to be on, are we supposed to be on a time trial team for
I don't
this? Or
know.
are
That
we
seems
just
like a weird recce to me, but it's
we're
doable
just
for
doing
sure.
one lap, full gas. I don't know what's happening actually. I'm just gonna show up and see what happens. Oh my gosh. All right, in
So
with
that
the S.
London.
It's we're getting I'm getting us distracted. 41-22 here for HSI Hispania Mocha right now, and it is Fran Saman here out of Spain trying to encourage his team to get on the wheel at this point. It looks like they're going to do just that and try and hold on to a 6th place overall. The challenger is going to be Zed Sun Nebula. Two guys as well as Cryogen have finished so far, and two guys has held on. I'm surprised. At the top, Swedish
Sub 40.
Zwifters.
Oh, sorry,
Oh
that's
no,
not
they
their
haven't.
finish time.
No, you're right though.
That's
3901,
the
the Rhinos and
24,
the
yeah.
Swedish Swifters. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're still there. So I'm gonna see if I can find them out on course.
All right. So this is going to be HISP, actually jumping over to Zed Sonar Nebula. Dowley here. Is this
He's off the back.
not
He's off the back, and
okay?
they're
So
they're
that's a,
splitting at this
oh
point,
boy.
and the
Yeah.
Rhinos are getting in the mix as well.
Sounds terrifying. Rhinos in the mix.
In the mix of the
That would make
Nebula.
CNN for sure. Loose rhinos in New York, downtown Manhattan. So, but that's not the case. These Rhinos have always been one of our top teams out here. Let's take a look at what we do know. You can see this has been a challenging pass. Passing on a climb is really tough. This downhill actually is like a sifting flour. It makes it much, much easier for the teams to separate and reorganize, which they've done right in front of our eyes there. So, yeah, that was a good example of how hard it is to pass, Nathan, on a climb. Let me go, though, look at the times that we got. The fastest times right now, and it looks like everybody is through. So it is two guys with the fastest time at 24K, and that's by 20. Actually, I was going to say 23 seconds, by a minute and
Well,
23
no,
seconds.
they've just finished, so I'll fix that for you. Sorry,
Oh,
Dave. Yeah, it's
Excuse
just
me.
it's only because they
There
had
we go.
finished. So my fault.
Sure,
I
sure.
can change it up for
Reshuffling.
you. Yeah, so
And
the
actually, it's almost
Rhinos.
pointless. Yeah, we're gonna be in finish times in just a moment here anyways, but, the Rhinos there with the fastest time at that split. But again, that's about 5K before the finish. Man, Brevet has ridden 2,600 kilometers today.
Yeah, wow. He's been on
That's
well,
or is that
not no,
that must be this
64 hours.
month.
He's 64 hours in. Bowie is
Take a
right
break,
now.
buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez. Well, the Rhinos just finishing up. I was trying to
He's making
find
you
the
look
likes
bad
of
now, Nathan.
Martin Shortfick actually and the rest of the SCR team who were challenging the Rhinos. I couldn't find them on course, but they are out there just finishing up. And did want to highlight the Mochas. They don't always get a whole lot of love, so good job out there to the whole Mocha squad.
Nice.
It was a battle between the Rhinos and SCR for first and second place, and then it did look like two guys were trying to hold down the next spot. But it is going to be Rave here, splitting up a little bit as Ike is trying to chase down Electric Spirit.co just ahead of him. And they're having a solid ride here in the lattes, it looks like. We're going to see if we can start getting some splits coming in, as they should be through that first 8K marker.
Let's see who we've got with Rave out here today. Eddie Oji is out of the United Kingdom. El Cassette is the German rider on Team Rave. Kari Lorch, American. We've got Louise out there. She's usually with the Rave Firestarter squad. Lisbeth Tigerson, Danish rider. And Tiffany Colby, another American here on Rave. You're talking about electricspirit.co. They've been a team coming on so strong over the last 6 months or so, or even last year. And we'll have a chance to see how they're doing out here. But the first checks are coming in, and it's Galaxy Supernova Surge with the 1256, 1239 for Rave Against the Machine, 1339 there for Rave Against the Machine. And then the Rockies finishing, or not finishing, but coming to check at 8K with the time at 1358. Couple Galaxy
Galaxy,
teams today.
what is going on with Galaxy today? They are on fire. Surge is usually not the team that I would be watching out for, but they have turned the screws today. They have turned a page, I feel like, in this Surge team. Now, Velocity still the ones to be watching out for, it looks like, as they have always been extremely strong and usually a lot of times the winners of this category for the Vienna Lattes here. But
They just put a 1240 up,
yeah,
Nathan, so 10
yeah.
seconds quicker than AHDR.
The Crank Crushers are out here as well. We got a race in our hands here in the Lattes. I think this is going to go back and forth a little bit. We'll see. I think Velocity may start to do a little bit of a walkaway, but I have a feeling that Zedson, Surge, and the Crank Crushers, with the mix of Surge being kind of, I don't know, did they go out too hot? It's going to be my question there, first of all, because, I wasn't expecting this kind of time coming from them. They were the first to start, meaning the slowest coming in. But I have a feeling they're going to put up a fight for this podium today that the Crank Crushers and Pluto were not ready for.
Does Vikings Iden come quicker than 1240? That'll be incredibly exciting if they're able to do that here. It looks like TFC Storm is a scratch out here today. So these are the teams that we've got in our Vienna Latte as they're out on lap number 2 at this point. We're in. So again, 2 Galaxy teams today. Galaxy
Look at this
Supernova
split.
Velocity.
Look at how they're going to try and bring this back together. The slingshot from the back of 4 and 4, team within team. Kind of cool the way that this 4 in the back can slingshot if they can make it happen. But it's a little bit of separation, but it could be
I
a
wouldn't say this
situation
is
where they
ideal.
gain some
Yeah.
speed, though. Well, here's the thing: is that I think Fajardo really pushed the pace along with a couple of the others on the front of those 4. They're able to gain the time of the climb, and then these 4 can slingshot around each other to come back. I wouldn't say it's the most ideal, but it is a way to get it done on the climb and yet still stay with the time that was gained in the climb. So nice, 8 together, and they didn't really have to lose much. Will they carry the momentum through to really make the most of it?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Maybe not textbook, but certainly a different way of managing that situation for sure. But pretty darn effective all in
I mean,
all.
they
Because
still
as
have
you can see,
8, Dave. Nice job, I have
yeah,
to say, right?
right. I mean,
Like,
yeah, I would actually. At first, I completely understand what they're doing there. They kind of set up a second team to help get each other, almost like a gruppetto, to help just make sure everybody stays together. And then instead of having riders all fighting themselves individually to get back, they do it together as four, making it much easier, much more effective. Nice job.
Coming through. It
That's
looks like,
teamwork.
is that 2 laps done? 2 laps done. 23:13 now at this point for these latte ladies. And we'll be waiting on the next time check shortly. They've got another couple K to go. Go back to ZR Scott. They've got 4 riders still. And just
I'm
starting to
wondering,
climb. They're being chased down by Electric Spirit.co.
still waiting for that Vikings time. I think that they took the start. The green box with 6 in it tells me that they're out on course here. I think we're just probably waiting for a quick update here. Back in with ZR Scott, because they were the last team to start, Nathan. So you would anticipate a fast time from them, as we do start in reverse order based on the qualifying times from last week. So back in though with Z Scott, they started with 4 out here. Or did they? They might have started with 5, actually, but they've got 4 now. They started with 6, actually, according to the data that we have, although it's been 4 for a while for them out here.
Mm-hmm. Keep moving with Liz. We do see Rave making the catch shortly. Still got a lot of riders with him. A little bit of push off the front. 2 seconds gained from Tiffany out of the US of A. Lortz is here as well. Keep her moving as we then will head to the Crank Crushers. And this is one of our teams, I think, that is in for the win out here today. Is going to want to bring back 10 seconds to Galaxy Supernova. They still got 8. Look at this. Woo!
That's impressive.
Yeah, they have really look. Wow.
That's a squad right there.
What is happening? Did I just enter the Matrix?
Like, where's Anna Russell?
I'm not kidding. This is like Matrix style.
Man, they definitely know how to get coordinated. This is the Australian Hump Day Ride ladies team that we're in with now. And I just like their chances based on how they look, Nathan. They're 10 seconds back at that first split, but having 8 together, well, this is squadra is the perfect term. What a race we're going to have here today, because Galaxy Supernova Velocity, I would still say they're the new kids on the block, but they've also been the dominant force, haven't they, for a good little while right now. They're not the new kids on the block, I guess. They've moved out of that. They showed up, they were impressive, and they've remained the queens of the hill. So this is a real challenge that we're looking at out here today from the Crank Crushers team. Well drilled. That would send shivers down their competitors' spines, I would think, seeing what they look like out there. Yep, Anna's approving.
100%. I mean, this is a fashion police moment.
Dialed.
I mean, this. I don't know if I've seen. The only thing I would say to give it a 9.5 is I think one of the riders, maybe it's just a leader though on the team, but Tasman with just a little bit off on the coloring there. But besides that, everybody there is a glass. Do they all have the same glasses? Even close, not quite.
That's impressive.
But very, very close here. Well done on the fashion. And, this was on 100% on purpose. The Crank Crushers. And now, are they going to show up and really just make it? Yeah, I mean.
The odds are 1 in 800 billion.
Well, I mean, on purpose for the fashion police specifically, though. That's what I mean. Specifically for broadcast. That it's like, hey, take a look. We're here and we mean business.
For 8 people to randomly, independently end up on this same look at the same time.
No, I think that's like
that would be like the infinite monkey
insanity.
Theory or whatever.
No, you can't do it. It's just not. It's not possible. Right. It's just not
right. This though is it looks like they're going to go full soldier on with 6, Nathan. I don't know that these 2 are going to be able to come back.
They're in for the win. They're in for the win, and that's why. And I would too.
Have to.
I would not wait. So. I would, if I was in for the win, Galaxy Supernova, they're not waiting for anybody, I don't think. It's full gas go at this point. If Sammy can get back, but okay, 3 seconds is actually 6, maybe more. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, you are sacrificing double what you wait for. So I would not be holding up one bit at this point. If they can get back, they can. Good on them. But, I mean, if they've dropped off at that point anyways, the addition they'll make to the team and the speed is not going to be a whole lot. Sorry, if you're in for the win, you got to go for it.
Boy, it's right on the line here. The gap isn't getting smaller and it's not getting bigger either. So that tells me something. There's a little bit of a hiccup there, and that's really tough for those two riders that are off the back of this group here because these six, these are the tough calls that you make in a team time trial. A perfect example right there. But if it
Galaxy
comes
smells
down
blood.
to a
No,
second,
they taste blood in the water. Galaxy. They're like, oh, okay, we're on our way. They're 21 seconds up. They can see the time gap between them, Dave.
yeah, and this is one of the benefits of starting in this position, right? You can race with that immediate, in real time knowledge of how you're doing. That's going to be pretty encouraging for them.
Well,
2 laps in,
Surge,
two to go out here.
26:14 for Surge currently. Crank Crushers, 12:50. Supernova Velocity, 12:40. Those were the last time checks. So Surge, the only ones to come through with the time check so far. We still got a couple of K to go before we'll get one from Galaxy. We'll see if we can jump across to our frappes as well as our mochas and get an idea what's happening there. Let's see who showed up um in the Viennas. See, we've got BBB alongside of TFC
Oh, good.
Vixen. We'll have a chatter about them a little bit here. It looks like 23:52. There isn't really a race on though too much. It looks like Vixen's going to fall behind, and really the race here BBB are just going to walk away with that one.
This is Moscova that we're in with right now, the Galaxy team.
I just recognized that Dave's like, "What are you talking about?" Here's what we were
There
talking
we
about.
go. Taking a look at a 23:52 there at the midpoint of the race. It's just after you saw that lap banner there in downtown Watopia. So 23:52 the time, 25:05. Nathan, you're right. It looks like BBB in pretty good shape here. TFC Vixen, the other team today in a Vienna Espresso.
The one thing I want to highlight here about the Ys here with the Vienna Espresso, that category amongst the women has so many in real life professional athletes that literally it's part of their income to go race in real life. That at this time of year, I know a lot of the women actually are at Sea Otter. A lot of the women are at different events that are happening in the world right now, and that are just in real life. They got to be there. And this was used for training a lot of times, week in and week out. So as that Vienna Espresso gets a little bit smaller, it really is just because it's such a high caliber across all genres of cycling.
Yeah, it's a good point. And there's no doubt that there's a lot of pent up excitement for this racing season, and the floodgates have opened with Sea Otter now underway, and the triathlon world. They've been, full gas now for a while, to tell you the truth. So, yeah, that absolutely makes sense.
Yeah, tons of
A
top
good
level
problem to have.
pro triathletes in that. And then obviously with the classics going as well, we do have a few of the UCI pros
I saw
jumping in too.
I saw another regular out here, Lucy Charles Barclay is coming back from a injury that I want to send our best wishes out to her. I know she's really excited to get back out and racing as soon as possible, so that's always tough. But that's a good example, Nathan, of one of the world class athletes that's been out with us many, many Thursdays on WTRL's Team Time Trial Day. Fastest time now is a 25:30, only time through at 16K at this point. We'll see how that stacks up, as this is our Vienna Frappes that we're looking at now, or at least on our splits board with electricspirit.co, the Cosmonauts 25:30, Socks for Watts, odd socks out there, NZ Bro, the Pavlovas. So some of our favorite teams out racing today in Vienna Frappe. There's Socks for Watts. Leah
Got a
Thorvilson
little
is
bit of help.
back.
Got a little help here to go across, and are going to be able to jump in with our frappes for a little bit here. Looks like Socks for Watts. Were they the last to go out? I wonder. I'm going to double check here and see. And was Crush Pod the faster team actually last time out, or did they get caught? Let me see here. Crush Pod were ninth. Socks for Watts were eighth actually. So Crush Pod are the defending champions this week.
Good for them.
Not the usual. Not the usual, that's for sure. But I think Socks for Watts have shown up to perhaps say enough is enough because they have a gap of 217 on Crush Pod right now. And I think they've kind of stacked the team a little bit with Sox Watts this week. 12:06 currently what they're throwing down.
Sox for what's today? Well, let's take a look at Crush Pod as you've got them up on the screen. That's going to be Carly Graham, Caroline Millens, Curly Wild, Julia Volkman, Leanne Daly, Nan Deerdorf McLean, and Regina Langhammer making up that Crush Pod squad today. They're leveling up, no doubt about it. You can see there the German flag for Regina. Carly racing out of, I believe that's New Zealand. And this is going to be Millens that we've got here. Caroline
Definitely New
Millens from
Zealand.
Scotland.
Yeah, that's definitely New Zealand. Both
We
Leanne.
we've gotten to know those two flags pretty well, haven't we? That's I have zero question mark in my mind what's New Zealand and Australia now. At least I got that figured out.
So Sox Watts odd Sox with that 1206, trying to hold off the Pavlovas actually that are going to be. NZ Bro Pavlovas having a good ride this week. Nice job on them. We'll see if they can take that second place down.
Wow.
Will they challenge
It's
even? I mean, this is
well, yeah, they are.
a
I mean,
big
if you
jump.
look at it, 12 seconds back after one lap, not bad at all. Certainly, I'm talking about to Sox for Watts, and that is 12:06. So that's the quickest time that we have at that first check. So they're the team that everyone is chasing at this point.
I wonder if there's a story here in the background of like what time of year it is for NZ Bro as well as some of these Australian teams and what we saw in the ZRL this past week with both Anna Russell. We saw the NZ Bro team making some crazy
Well,
moves as well in the ZRL this past week and taking down some
so
wins
I
in
know
this kit. So I mean, it's a pretty big deal.
right now, Sydney is in Australia is receiving record amounts of rainfall. So so it would be the equivalent, Nathan, I think, for you in Wisconsin of for them it's late October, early November vibe. You're kind of moving into the fall, winter weather, and certainly Zwift season is going to be firing up for them. But you also have the benefit of a lot of those riders would have some decent. It's been weird with COVID and everything, but they would have finished up their outdoor season, or not finished up per se, but through the sweet spot of the outdoor season down there.
Yeah, and have some fitness to work with, come into your
Yeah, so,
indoor season and
and some
start getting
motivation to
ready
be
for
inside,
exactly,
get out of the rain.
exactly.
Yeah,
So good bike selections here as well, coming from Smithers and Conlin. It looks like, in my opinion. So we are seeing some deep dish wheels. Nice little
they always
setup
have
here. I'm
great
gonna give
names.
this. So I don't know about the socks and shoes though, but I'm gonna get the green socks with the blue hat. I mean, you got an accent right, but pretty. I'm liking the setup here coming from Conlin.
What
As
is the animal on the short? Is that a wolf that we've got there, or
yeah, I think it's like a leopard
oh
or a
no, it's like a
tiger more,
jaguar or
or
something? Yeah, right.
jaguar
So
Radavas kit. So
that must be. Is that what a Perini is? I'm looking it up as we speak. Don't worry,
well,
Nathan.
this kit is not specific to that part of the world though. So I don't know. Oh, so or what they're naming. This kit's been in like this is one of the first kits put in game very early on, about 5-6 years ago. So Radavas kit is old school, but they are using it. It's
So
a cool kit.
So the translation, it looks like it would be something close to princess
Oh,
in
nice.
Maori. The
Nice. I love these names coming from
yeah,
NZ
so
Bro.
that
They're
I think
so
that's
cool.
sort of close. It's a Maori lady in traditional costume. Princess might not be exactly correct, but there you go. We learned a lot about New Zealand.
You need to get the
Trying to
traditional costume game.
Yeah, this is
Cool.
not the traditional costume. I
This is
think this is
not
a
it,
little more
no.
modern era.
Sox Watts have opened up the gap a little bit more, it looks like. They have a 24:02, 24:23 for Enzebro
Oh,
Pavlovas. Rayvon are falling backwards, it looks like, at this point. Electric
let
Spirit
me shout out
Cosmonaut?
Sox for Watts. As
Yeah, yeah.
you were mentioning, Leah Thorvaldsen out there racing with them today. She's got her turbo flag up, and I have a feeling that Linnea Madsen, the Dane, is also out there today, along with Donna Watts.
Oh,
Tremendous
Natalie
job
Lawrence
out
is
there.
back, too.
Nice.
Great to see
So
Nat.
yeah, Natalie Lawrence, Sally White. The German rider is Tina Reimann, Julia Hargreaves, Jen Clark, and that is the team. of Socks for Watts Odd Socks, and they're on a great day today.
What I want to know is when is the last time Natalie Lawrence has done a race? Because I have not seen her around the world of Zwift racing for quite a while. So cool to see her back. She used to be a mainstay part of some of our top teams amongst the women's uh, crew. So loving that she's jumping back.
Was she
I
on
was gonna.
Hino? Was she a
I might.
Hino rider for a while?
I might be making some assumptions here. Maybe it's not even the same Natalie Lawrence, but yeah, it is. I believe it is. I believe it is the same. She was riding with a
It's
lot
not
of the
Hino.
triathlete, teams for a while. The last time she did a WTRL team time trial, way back, it looks like she did one in February, and then jumped in. It looks like a couple weeks ago in March, but
Uh,
it's been a little bit more
Martin
chill.
Martin is saying Aeonian, and that makes sense.
Ah, gotcha.
Some time
Gotcha.
with the Aeonians. That's Nat right there. Natalie Lawrence is they're about to make a catch of Zed Sun. We talked about how it's very challenging, but right now Sox for Watts has so much power, Nathan. They're going to go right by. I mean, they are flying out here today, so kind of turns that into a moot point as far as the tangling up of the two teams. As Sox for Watts is just at a different level out here today.
Making the way over the top of this little bit of a climb. They're going to have one lap to go after this. One more time up and over the top as times start to come in. The times now that are starting to be set across all the zones, Dave, as we take a look at the first time we've ever been out here, Roca Corba Collective showed up today, Dave.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to see if we can get some information on who showed up on that team. 42-21. Do we have the former world champion on that team? Is going to be my question.
My guess is a no, just based on with the racing going on right now in Europe.
Right. Good
Yeah,
call. Good
that would
call.
be a surprise. But yeah, you never know. You never
Look
know.
who else has showed up, Dave. Beating the Doppio time of Wahoo Lacole in sub 37. Our man
Huh.
Maiden
Wow.
from SWM. I wonder if he was a part of this because he was our 5K to go hero on Tuesday. And
Wow. He's a
SWM,
breakthrough.
we said, I'm not sure he's a part of this TTT team, but we said he put them on the map, and now they show up and put the best time down in a WTRL team time trial. They're obviously getting ready for Tuesday.
Yeah, that I was expecting to see more of our ZRL teams coming out and team time trialing here. As if there's ever a discipline that having some rehearsal time helps, it's this one. This is Sox for Watts that win with now. They're dropping back down, so they've got a little over one lap of racing remaining out here on today's Two Bridges loop. It's about 29K, 4 laps on a challenging TT course. Again, this climb is just enough, puts the team under pressure, but it doesn't turn it into a bananas team time trial course.
Got
And
one to
with
go, one to
NZ Bro,
go, one to go, one to go for the ladies here on the Vienna Frappe. As the times are still coming in here, and it does look like that is going to be the situation. The battle really is going to be for third, perhaps. And Zed, bro, I'm not sure they can bring back that kind of time with one lap out here. But
so and the reason why I would say that you're right there is that I mean it's sort of a the proof of concept. Sox for Watts knows this is the fourth lap, so they know exactly what they've got ahead of them. And bringing back that much time, a few seconds is possible. Teams fading or being able to pick it up and putting together some negative splits, but just a big ask right now. And again, Sox for Watts, that's a powerhouse squad. It really is. Yeah, that's nothing to hang your head about when you're NZ Bro. The Pavlovas here. Let's see what they can do. And Nathan, that's something we've learned. It's not over till it's over. Rave on in with a 25:07. Again, this is all from just after the middle part of the course. So about a kilometer into lap number 2, or lap number 3, I should say. Crush Pod Spiced Frappe, 25:18, fourth quickest. Electric Spirit.co, the Cosmonauts, fifth quickest. And Coalition, rounding out our top 6 right now. That's in our Vienna Frappe category. This is the NZ Bro Pavlovas that we're with. 6 riders together.
Jumping across to our Viennas. We haven't chatted with them yet today or about them yet today. That's actually going to be the Mocha time. Sorry about that. Evo Meteors at the 16K mark are the fastest time. We are in with our owls that allowed us to get across. I think one of our owls is kind of out here solo at this point, perhaps. Um, we'll see the rest of our team up front,
Christina Miller.
looks like. Yeah, but Becky and the
Oh,
rest of the
yep.
crew here now coming up and over the top. They're currently in for second. They have just
Becky
had
Padilla.
amazing rides, Dave. I am so
No
impressed
kidding.
by this owl team week in and week out. They have come in. They were second last week, I believe, or did they win last week? Because they came in, they were the last to start. They're the defending champions.
No,
Evo
these
Meteors
ladies are
here.
awesome. This is one of the best stories on Zwift right now when you talk about the owls. Owls is an acronym that stands for Older Women in Lycra. They're more than happy to talk about their age. As Becky Padilla is 66 years old, and they are monsters, no doubt about it. Let's give the whole team a shout out today because Arlene, and they're all going using, or most of the team putting up the Ukrainian flag in support of our friends in Ukraine. Arlene Salcedo, Becky Padilla, the American Catherine Van Rie, Cindy Schnee, Elaine Montoya, who's a friend of ours, and Elaine, all those stingers that you see at the beginning of our broadcast, Elaine creates for us. She's a great artist. And it's Christina Miller also on the team, Maria Shannon. Pam Morris is their New Zealander, and Wendy Skeen. So keep it up, Owls. Truly an inspiring group.
Arlene Salcedo,
Uh-oh.
or Salcedo coming in, saying she loves the
Oh,
commentary and
no.
background on the races. Great job. Convalescing from fractured collarbone ribs and collapsed lungs. So I love watching.
Now,
Go Owls. Well, we want
that's
to
not the
send
background we
healing.
wanted.
Well, but at the same
Yeah,
time, I love the positive spin and I'm going to run with you
totally.
there, Arlene. I'm going to run right
That
with you
wing,
there as you're watching them out here. It's awesome. And we love that you're watching with us and encouraging on the Owls as well.
one of our owls is a little dinged up right now, but she's going to be back. That's for sure. I don't know if you have owls in Wisconsin, Nathan, but I have a
Oh, we
bunch of
have
them that live.
owls. They used to like take
Yeah,
over like attics and all kinds of stuff.
I
And
love
like
owls.
when I was young, I was afraid a little bit. I think when I was young, early on, because my first introduction to owls was
Good.
like some sort of big barn owl or something that was living in the attic of my grandparents' place, and I was like, "What are you talking about? You have to get rid of an owl." And they would, and I think somebody who was like an uncle or something, kind of like made it scary
You
on
want
purpose,
owls,
you know? Like,
right?
so it was.
Well, it's funny. You'll see owls are so scary to seagulls, like in Monterey, where sea otter is happening. Businesses will put fake plastic owls on top of their roof, and that keeps the seagulls away. The seagulls want nothing to do with the owls. They're considered one of the most dangerous of all the birds, and you know how I feel about birds.
Dave watched the movie too many
More
times
than
when he
clear,
was
right?
young.
The Hitchcock
He
film,
watched
right?
Hitchcock
No,
film too
birds
many
are
times.
terrifying. Owls, though, have a good reputation, right? They're known for wisdom.
Because they only come out at night. We all go to sleep probably. If if they were like not a
I
nocturnal,
think they're just so cool. Yeah.
if they were nocturnal, we might feel different about them. But who knows? Middleton here now, Sandra, Bick, they are so cool. I'm with you. I'm with you there though for sure. Uh, I feel like they're like ninjas. All right, I'm off the owls now.
Kind of. All right, we got to
Middleton,
move on.
Keen,
Sorry.
Karen,
Yeah, sorry.
Sandra, Blith
I
here.
did
This
that.
is
That was my
going to
fault.
bed. No,
Yeah.
you're great. I love it. Zed's son, though. What's the situation on the time splits, Dave? Can't you get those up on screen? Let's go, Dave. Here we go.
Come on, Dave. All right, let's take a look. So, what we're going to see is it's updating now because not everybody's come through 24K, but we do know this the Alba edition of ZR Scott with a, it is updating even more here. I
There you go.
apologize. Let me
There you go.
There we go. Atom Racing Team Electrons in. So I'm just going to go straight to 24K, the third and final check before the finish. 40:56 is the time that you see from ART Electrons. 41:28 is the time. So you get the feel for about a little over a half minute back to ZR Scott Alba, the Hydra edition of Z Sun R with the 42:01. And then it's going to be Aria there with a 42:45. Now, this is in our Vienna class that we're talking about. This is one of the strongest classes that we have out here, and they're getting very, very close to the finish now. Still waiting for Virtue. Now, was Virtue slow? I'm going back to watch the story here, and it looks like Atom Racing Team Electrons have been leading the entire way, Nathan, as far as I can tell. Or, excuse me, no, the Evo Meteors are the team to be waiting for here. Watch out for this time from the Meteors to see if it is quicker, and actually it should be the
Really
updating again.
interesting. It's really interesting how this is playing out because I feel like there's a little bit of back and forth. But the Evo Meters with the 2658 was that time. They're gonna have to hold on to that. Did they go out a little bit too strong? The Owls at the 2719 are still trying to defend, but they are defending against the Atom Racing team. Currently looking at Zedsun out on screen right now. The Hydras at a 4201. They're gonna be looking to just defend to be somewhere within the top 10 still, actually, with this Zedsun. So
Yeah.
this is a nice little climb though coming in from them. Great job on their finishing up. We're gonna keep moving our way through the field though, as this is going to be the Electrons in the Viennas with Orr, Watson, Sarah as well, and Hissy on the front as 146 beats per minute, about to take on their final climb.
They're
Kind of
lined
like
up the
how
wrong way.
yeah, they're lined up
Yeah,
the
we
wrong
got to
way.
get
It
them
looks
not side by
cool.
side.
It
Yeah.
looks cool, but it's not really going to play out that well for them when it comes to the speed.
It's just a little hiccup there. They looked like they were coming across the Champs-Élysées after winning the team title in Tour de France, right? Spread out, celebrating, but there they go, back into aerodynamic formation. They should be, because the ART Electrons are on a tremendous day. They've got the fastest time right now at that split. That Owls don't have eyeballs.
I looked it up
Karsten
too.
Ivany,
I looked it up too. Owls can't move their eyeballs. That's because owls don't have
that's why their
eyeballs at
heads,
all.
that's why their heads
Instead, their
rotate.
eyes are shaped like tubes held rigidly in place by bones called sclerotic rings. So, I mean,
And
the
that's why
laser
their
focus,
heads spin
of
around, right?
these ladies is what's really happening here. I mean, that's what that is.
They have eyeballs, though.
Well, it says
The
right on
ladies.
Google. Google says,
No,
"Oh,
the
well."
ladies have eyeballs.
Oh my
No,
god!
that
All
you
right,
know what's funny?
perks.
I'm 50.
Dave, you
I
want to
had
give this
no
guy an
idea.
answer? This is a
Sure.
great question.
You bet. Funny, Perks is a good name for percolating the coffee that we have. So, WTRL was the originator, really, of e-racing on Zwift, and they've helped define the entire platform and experience. And instead of using the standard A, B, C's, and D's to define the levels of ability of our racers, thought we'd have some fun with it and use coffee classes. So you'll see the lattes, the mochas, the espressos, the frappes, and the doppio categories. And then there's a Vienna equivalent of that for the women. The mixed category is mixed men would be, and you can see right up to see Sarah's name here, watching Sarah Art Electrons. That B in the green circle, I have the sticky notes next to my computer for a quick tells me that's the Vienna class that we're looking at. So right now with the women racing, it's either going to be A's for Vienna Latte, and also this all references to
Doppio
Swift
was
Power.
added later too. We have to mention that later on the A plus category got so big amongst the men that they added Doppio, which mixes in a little bit with the espressos as well. So you can head over to WTRL.racing for more there. There was a little bit of a technical reason for all this too, because early on there was a technical reason for it
because we're mixing A's and B's and C. Like some of the teams might have 3 B riders and 2 C riders kind of thing, right? Is that
there was some of that, and there was something to do with timings too, and I can't remember the exact reason for it. And Martin actually had to take off, and I want the answer from him. But there was a reason when it came to how racers were finishing and catching each other and finishing around the same times. So there was something along those lines too. But yes, it was mainly to keep things interesting too, that these coffee classes would be specific to WTRL and not the same across all of. It kind of made WTRL
a way
stand
to differentiate.
Out, essentially. Exactly.
Yeah, kind of help build their brand, and that's Martin and Steven who do such a great job with WTRL, and yeah, this is all built off of those two giants, that's for sure. Nathan, we're going to be finishing up teams. This is the Rockies and Vale coming across the line now. Great course today. I'll look forward to seeing Two Bridges Loop again, finishing up 4 laps of racing here back into downtown Watopia. So it looks like, so we were using 29K. It looks like it's going to be exactly at about 28, we'll call it 28.7 out there. So more teams are going to come in. We'll get a good look at our results. But as Nathan said, you can always go to WTRL.racing and find any information on what's going on with racing coming up. If you want to get involved, or racing that has just happened, you can find the results, or
Oh,
historic results as well. Go ahead.
look at this, Dave. Evo
Only three.
Meteors, the Owls, 3
Woo.
seconds, Dave.
Oh my.
3 seconds. Yes, and there is on screen right now that we're seeing with the images.
But
Armistead
there's the
here
fourth rider
trying to
right
give
back
a
there. So
wheel to Lloyd. Lloyd needs to get back on terms here, but it looks like this is going to be a little bit of a loss of time. The fourth rider across the line is where it's going to be counted. But good on them for finishing things up.
that's the spawning area, the pens right in the background there. I've never noticed that from that shot before, where they start the race. As we drop back down, a little over a K and a half to go here for the RCP team.
This is a close race for them. They've got
Sure is.
11 seconds between them and the Infernos, and the Infernos might lose that right now with what we just saw with that fourth rider off the back. So this
Come on,
team
Rebulinas.
in the Betty Squad kit, one of the coolest kits. Met a lot of the Betty Squad. They're cool ladies out there, managing triathletes, and doing a great job here represented with the RCP. Rebelunas. They may be able to bring back a sixth place here because WCC were struggling so much out there. And of course, we're going to lose. Don't. They're going to get us back here. There we go. People start to finish, and if we forget in some of our extra tools to swap over on the extra tools, we end up losing everybody. And we had a quick fix there. So now we're back in Rebelunas, it looks like. I wonder if they're going to do it because they do have more bodies to work with to the finish line here.
Yeah, that's certainly what you're looking for, is someone to come through as you finish up a quick, hard pull. Let's see if they can get those
Christina's
seconds.
up to
Nathan is talking
4-7
about.
to in a Vienna. This is flying. I think they're going to bring back that much time and maybe more. They may
What a
overtake
strong,
ZR Scott too.
yeah, really impressive way to finish after a tough day of racing. They're down to about 400 meters to go. They're going to finish with 5 here as well. Rebulinas on a great day today. So they're going to bring it on home.
Kirsten, Switzerland, Brenner, Germany. Sousa, it's got the Ukrainian flag there, it looks like, with some support. Suzanne and Christina. That's going to be them. A little bit of sprint here coming from Susan. Love to see it. She comes and leads her team across the line. Back in with Evo just behind and looking as Evo always does in the all magenta purplish kit and magenta purplish bikes. Couple of outstanders there, but having a good ride. Evo Meteors, this is your current leaders at the 24-kilometer mark. The Owls are trying to chase them, and it is close. Look, 57 seconds that you see from Maria on the chase there. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, I was going to say every pedal stroke is going to make the difference here. A little more force from the Owl ladies, or this is Evo that win the Meteors, as it's only a matter of 3 seconds between the Owl riders and Evo here. It's going to come down to who wants it more out here today in Watopia. Super strong effort to wrap things up. That's the battle we're looking for. Who brought the sharper sword to the last lap? We're going to find out. This is back in with the Owls and Pam here, Nathan. We're going to get to watch them now over the final 500 meters. 4 riders, so everybody now has to go all in. Great racing today.
They might actually catch Vertislow just ahead of them as well. We'll see if that ends up playing out. This is right to the line. Cindy trying to lead things out. They're going to need a solid sprint. They were 3 seconds behind at the last split, but I think they gained a couple of seconds through the last 6K. A little bit of sprint here coming from Pam, really ramping it up. They're looking to take down this top spot and defend from last week. Nice job by Pam here. Here they come to the line. Catherine with the kick. Love this team right now. 4 to the line. They said, forget it. We're in for the win. And that is going to be it.
Yeah. Wow. That is some team time trialing out there, ladies. Well done. So that's our Viennas that we're finishing up with here. I think we've still got a couple teams maybe out on course. Those are the final teams to start, actually. So I think that's going to be it as we update all of the data and circle the wagons here after an amazing day of racing. Nathan, that's fun. You know, that's the great thing about team time trialing is it never disappoints, does it? The teams always give such a great effort out there. And that was the closest race, I think, of the day that we just witnessed.
Which is so cool to see. Like, come on, with what we're doing here, Dave, like what is happening with what WTRL is doing, what this community is doing, the way they're showing up, that we just saw women's racing, the closest racing of the day,
their hearts out. I mean, that's just
Women who
they're
are
racing as hard as
promoting that they're all over 60, battling against the rest of these women who would they be racing in real life? Maybe a few of them, but this is where
maybe,
they're
and
getting this
maybe they
amazing
do.
competitive experience, though.
But we're certainly racing here. That's for sure. And think about how much better everybody is in their orbit for them making this effort. They get their exercise, great for mental health. We just had a fantastic event with the Alzheimer's Association this week. And one thing that I have really learned is the ability to be social and do exercise together is maybe one of the best indicators of health, right? I mean, if you're out there riding your bike with other people, you're way ahead of the curve. So Owls, Evo, Meteors, you keep it up, ladies. It's inspiring to all of us at Swift Community Live.
I
Really is,
want
isn't it, Nathan? I mean,
to. It really is. It's super inspiring.
I
I
want to
want to
go
be like
ride
the
right now.
owls.
So
I want to be like
yeah,
the
me too.
owls when I grow up.
Me
I mean,
too.
that's my goal at this point is to be
Good
like the
luck.
owls when I grow up.
I
Good
hope
luck.
you're
Thank
cut out
you.
of that same cloth. Yeah.
I'm just checking something here because before I went to the results, I just wanted to make sure. And our 5K to go hero is a part of that team in the men's
Oh,
side of
really?
things with SWM. This is
People might be wondering what you're talking about. 5K to hero. 5K to go hero is something that Nathan and ZCL has introduced into our
well, Dave, give
ZRL
credit where credit
races.
is due. It's Dave's idea, actually, when we had our
Well, I
meetings
was part
last
of a
at
round table. Yeah.
yeah. And so,
But we love it. So try to support the man or the woman that has made the race up before the finish. And
the cool
Nathan is
thing
talking
was
about a
most
guy.
of them won this past
Yeah.
it wasn't even like before we got to the finish line, a lot of the most aggressive riders, the 5K to go heroes, were the ones who won in the ZRL this past week, which is really
Including our
speaks to the
colleague,
course. Speaks to the
Anna
course,
Russell.
I think, in some ways, though. I think it really speaks to like usually you give that because like in a bike race, there's so much sacrifice that this person really made the race, but a lot of times it's the person
don't
who
win.
put out the least amount of effort who then ends up first across the line.
Which is sort of why we wanted to highlight the race maker, that 5K person. That's really interesting. But
just a little
this last
different
week-
because that last week was so hard.
Yeah.
The course was so
Yeah.
hard.
Totally. And obviously a 5K to go hero wouldn't make sense in the team time trial format. Or I guess it kind of could, but you'd have to be on the team, wouldn't you, to really know who that hero was?
Maybe we
The
just
person
make
that
it a
was
team
filling-
this week. I think it's just going to be a team. We'll just make it. We'll just call out a team for some reason. We'll figure out a reason
Right.
to call out a team for 5K.
Well,
to go
whoever
heroes.
won between the Meteors or the Owls, then I think would have to get it out here today because they put on the show.
Well, I mean for next
for
week. I
us.
mean for the TTT on London next week. Like, how are
Okay.
we going to do? Yeah, we'll just pick a team, I think is what we'll do. I don't know. We'll see when we get there. All right, enough of that. Here we go. What happened today? That's going to be the question that we need to talk about. And in with the results, we'll start with the Dopios. The interesting thing, it's actually Espressos that won it out. But Wahoo Lacole at the
really?
top. 2 seconds to Mutant X. And as I said, Mutant X are another team to watch out for. If they're challenging Wahoo Lacole, who are one of the top teams coming from Premier Division, Cryogen Gulls there in for third. It's going to be Down and Dirty Vipers in fourth. And Princes of Plywood, they round out top 5 in the A-plus Dopios. Over to the Espressos, and there they are. SWM at the top. And Maiden actually put out the most power on that team as well.
Zone 8, 7 riders, a 36:49. That's the cream of the crop there in our Espressos, and actually outright fastest time of the day, SWM. So that's a team to pay attention to. Dirt Time Chasers, Zetas, in with the second quickest time. That was in our Platinum League that we just witnessed. Zone 3 represented here by Eat Dirt Animales. So 19 different zones. Already you can see Zone 12 finishing as we work our way around the WTRL globe. In fourth place, it's Schmerz Frey Espresso. Fifth is Burrito Titans. Evo Gladiators in for sixth in our Espresso class. Valhalla Skid Bladner in seventh. PTZ Urik in eighth. Vikings Hell in ninth, and TSZ Tutti Frutti, the best of the Swedish candies, in 10th.
They are the best of the Swedish. Those are so
They are
good.
the
I gotta
best.
get some. I gotta get some more
Yeah.
of those. I cannot find a
gotta
gummy
get 'em
like
online
that
or through
anywhere
Amazon or something.
in the
Yeah.
like in the U.S. That's for
They're
sure.
better than American candy. I'll tell you
Yeah,
that right
by
now.
far. Dirty Steam Engines, 39-33, coming on through from Zone 3. They held on, actually, through Platinum League and all the way through Zone 10 and 11 at this point. Nice job to the Dirty Steam Engines there. Mercy, ZRG Cramp, come on through for second. It's going to be Smurfsfrey Frappe in third. Eat Dirt 007 shooting straight in fourth. It's going to be Kurtmer Frappe 1 in fifth. Zed Sun Red Dwarfs in sixth out of Zone 10. 3 seconds back is bikeconnect.co.za with an S at the end, then seventh place. It's going to be Down and Dirty Blackbirds in eighth. RR Rapid Rhinos and Vikings Yomungdar in 10th place out of Platinum League.
It's funny. I wouldn't have said the S. All right. So NZ Bro Mutton Birds. That's your fastest latte time. Coming out of zone 13. Already back in the barn. So 41.20 there. Great job by the New Zealand-based Mutton Birds. It's RR Woolly Rhinos in with the second quickest time. And then you can see it's a lot of Platinum League teams here with ATP Racing Nitrogen, third quickest at the moment. Cryogen Emu's fourth. Dirt Time Chasers Megas fifth quickest. It's TFC Lancaster in sixth. Vikings Valhalla seventh. Dirty Rascals Wrath eighth. Vikings Molnir in ninth. And Eat Dirt 2. That's your top 10 times at the moment.
Can you say this word for me?
Animales?
Thank you. I was just wondering. Bill
Okay.
really.
Well, don't worry,
Bill's
Nathan.
all about it. Bill's all. I think I did. I say maybe I didn't say it right.
I owe
Not
Bill
sure.
an apology because I called him Bill something that wasn't Bill Quattro earlier. And it wasn't a bad word or anything. It's just a last name that wasn't his. But that is Bill Quattro.
I like
And
it.
Bill,
That
thanks.
his name. That's nice job, Bill, with that 4 in there. He's good at the quattro.
See,
I'm
what I
loving
said
it.
was
I'm
somehow, Nathan, you know my eyes aren't the best, obviously. And so I called him Bill Castro the Fourth. And it's Bill Quattro, but it's spelled
from
with
the
C.
Animales. From the Animales.
Yes. So he's a cool guy. I really, it's worth saying as we jump in with the mochas here, Nathan, your feedback means a lot to us, how to pronounce names if we're getting it wrong. And it's always nice to hear from you. So don't be shy. If I'm getting it wrong, and I think Nathan really feels the same way, just let us know because we definitely don't want to be mispronouncing your names.
All right, Sumatran, speaking of pronunciation, there at the Sumatran Rhinos there.
Now the Rhinos will be calling.
46-17,
Yeah.
Swedish Swift Racers with an M in for second there. Two guys, Pampilo in third place at 47-23. ZR Scott Thistles in fourth. Hispanic Mocha's there in fifth. It's going to be TBR Renegades in sixth. Team Type 1 Gluconauts in seventh at 49-21. Zedson R Nebula in eighth. TFC Hurricane, they come storming through in ninth, and the WLBB Underdogs holding down 10th place out of zone 8. On over to the ladies. It's 3 teams, actually. Roca Corba. I got to know who showed up there. I'm going to find out.
All right, while you're looking that up, Nathan, I'll let you know that they raced out of Zone 10. Now, this is the South African team. Not everybody on the team will be South African, but that has been organized by Ashley Moolman-Pasio, the one-time esports world champion and all-time Zwift favorite. 42.21 the time they're racing out of Zone 10. Platinum League fastest time was BBB. We saw the ladies put another impressive ride together. 42.33, silver medal as it stands. Crush Pod Afagatos, they're the third quickest time racing out of Zone 11. And then TFC Vixen round out our top 4. That's the ladies in the Vienna Espresso class.
It was Osterby, Courtney Webb,
She's
Rian
strong. Boy.
Denton, Charlotte Berry is what I'm seeing. Only 1, 2, 3, 4 showed up.
They did it
from
with
what I'm
4.
seeing.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna.
No, that's what it
double-check.
says.
Yeah.
That's confirmed. Yeah.
A lion.
Impressive.
Lion. I wonder though, how did Sox Watts go up against that? Right. Well, look at this. Let's see here. 40. They actually
1
beat out
second.
Sox Watts. They beat out.
Oh
Sox
no, I'm
Watts.
sorry. By 19.
Yeah, by
yeah.
19 seconds with only 4. Wow, the collective is strong here. But Sox Watts here in first with a 42-40 in with the Vienna Frappes. NZ Bro Pavlovas. Dave, they brought back like 20 seconds. They almost did it.
Holy cow.
I
Wow.
thought it was over at that 24K
It
mark. Like
came down
completely
to
over.
1 second. 1 second. Way to
I mean,
race with heart, NZ
I'm
bro.
gonna
Yeah.
highlight New Zealand right now and NZ Bro because I really have a feeling that in this next couple of months they're gonna come on so strong. Good job for NZ Bro. Ravon now 44.07. Big time gap back there for third, as that was really the battle at the top end between those two. WTRL what's up too, though. They were right on the heels, it looks like, in fourth place with the 158 back, 44.39. HDR Bullets there in fifth. Crushpod Spice Frappe in sixth. NZ Bro Ghost Chups in for seventh place, battling it out with Electric Spirit Co. Cosmonauts and Crushpod Spice Frappe on either side. Coalition Amalthea, ninth place for them, 10 seconds back from the Electric Spirit PO, and Renegade E with a 46.07, rounding our top 10 out of Zone 8. The Lattes.
Let's jump in as Galaxy Supernova Velocity with 45 flat. That's the fastest time. It came out of Platinum League, as did the top 6 times. It was AHDR, the Australian Hump Day Ride Crank Crushers, in with the 45.37. That's good for second. 46.48 was the time of Galaxy Supernova Surge. So Galaxy all over the podium today, as they'll take the third spot as well as it stands. Zed Sonar Pluto in with the fourth quickest time. Then fifth for Vikings Iden. Sixth is Rave Against the Machine. Seventh is Vegan Mint. Hereford Triathlon Club Vixens, they're going to have the eighth fastest time at the moment. Crushpod Cortado ninth, and then the Rockies rounding out our top 10 fastest times for our Vienna Latte women here. WTRL's 155th consecutive Thursday of team time trial racing.
All right, a little bit of a drum roll here because this was the battle of the day. What happened between these riders? We saw a battle with the Rebel Lunas trying to chase down WCC, and then we saw the Owls versus the Evo.
Oh,
what? 7
wow.
seconds. How did they pull back? That's like huge amount of time they pulled back on that last time check. What amazing job by the Owls here. Obviously, they have eyes on this team. 48.06. And then it's going to be the Evo meters coming on through for second. Adam Racing Team Electrons actually end up in third. ZR Scott Alba in fourth. WCC Infernos hold on for fifth place. They must have had a really good first half of lap action in that final lap. We got a little bit of a slip in there with the AVC Mount Virgin there out of zone 11, getting in between the RC file Rebel Lunas in seventh there. Vertisol Pink come on through with a 49.57 in eighth. It's going to be Zed Sun R Hydra in ninth, and NZ Bro Pie Sandwiches keeping it tasty, it looks like, in 10th. That's the situation here for the WTRL Team Time Trial 155 as it stands. Still a few more zones to go throughout the day. Next week, number 156 is Greatest London Flat. Total distance 31.31 kilometers, 19.3 miles. Register before 8 p.m. UK time next Wednesday, 3 p.m. Central in order to get your team in to the Team Time Trial. Number 156, Dave. There's a reason why this has been the mainstay of what has become Zwift Esports. The consistency and amazing organization at WTRL. Big thank you to them. Up next, ZRL next week. Another Team Time Trial that we're going to be looking at. And teams, I think, are getting ready. Today has been the story.
Yeah, next week, a big one for ZRL, that's for sure. It's funny, Nathan, right now, Sea Otter going on, which is considered by a lot of folks to be the world's biggest gathering of endurance sports athletes. And I would put us right up against them, as we do Sea Otter every single week on WTRL with thousands and thousands of riders. So we're super proud of all of you. Great job out there. And we'll see you Tuesday for the ZRL. It's going to be a monster day of racing.
Thanks a lot, everybody, for tuning in. If you haven't done so, hit the like button, hit that subscribe or follow, whatever it is on the platform you're watching on, Twitch, YouTube, as well as Twitter and Facebook. And we'll see you next week for ZRL. As always, everybody, ride on.